Hello, Editing Joker here. And before we get to the main video, I just want to point out that this was originally going to be one video, and so I had made like 5 or 6 teams for it, and the video was going to be like 40 minutes long. So I decided to split it into, I think, a 3 and 3, so part 1 and a part 2. This video will be focused on, I think, blue orb teams, and so I'm going to say like team or like run 4 out of 5 or whatever the hell. Don't pay attention to that. We cut it, so I didn't want to voice it over again. So the gameplay is still valid. It's just that my numbering is now wrong because I decided to split the video up into 2. So with that said, don't pay attention to that. Gameplay is good. Let's get on with the video. Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video, and we are going back into the beatdown battle for this current wielder of magic meta. But this time we're going to be doing EX3 again, but with more alternate teams in order to help people attempt to get that final dupe of Ranga so that they can get him 120 and, be done with it and then not have to grind flashback crystals and all that. These teams may or may not clear Inferno 1, 2, and 3. In fact, well, I know only at least probably one of them will, but the rest of them are very, very debatable. But I have, what's the word? Curated. Ooh, that's a good word. Curated 5 teams in this video. So this video could be long. Timestamps will be down below in the video description, so feel free to peruse at your leisure. But honestly, you can make a number of teams work. Even teams that are not really meant to be in here, as proven by bringing the Vengeance team in here. Definitely was going hard nerf against Vengeance, and still we managed to clear up to Inferno 3 with that. So, if you try hard enough, and if you wailed hard enough, I guess, you will have a few options to take on the stage, because he doesn't really have that much health, quote unquote, that much health. So there are a number of high damage hitters in the game now that you can kind of get away with. But with that said, let's go ahead and jump into our first team. Alright, so the first team is the Warriors Mind team. Now, this was not my original idea. This was actually given to me by ModMat22 in the Slime Discord server. No, oh, sorry, ModMat44. I got the numbers mixed up and the name mixed up, sorry. ModMat44. In the Discord server, gave me this team to use, and he had some success with it, so we tried it out. We got Protector Velzard, Geld, Violet, Guy, Rimuru, and Valentine, and you're pretty much just meant to overpower the golem's crit, resistance and stuff by just using a crap ton of buffs, and preferably an EX ult, but I don't actually think we get the EX ult here. So let's go ahead and pop this up. And, I mean, the first couple turns are kind of wonky, and you do need very specific setups to get traits active. I've got the extra protection gauge on Blue Charm going on. In fact, I have that for most of the runs where I use blue-focused teams. We get very, very lucky here, though, so we can do this, and then we can then bring Geld in. Geld is here to ensure that we can give away all of our orbs to the highest damaging unit, which would be Guy, single target. He does have type disadvantage. His alt buff does give him crits, so, he's not the preferable unit to use, but he can still do enough damage to make it pretty much worth your while. It's just you really have to be careful on that nuke turn, because even if it's only EX3, he can still do a butt ton of damage to you on his ult and then his follow-up. And we didn't get a good turn right there, so we're just gonna jump ahead. And we're going to do another run, which I always forget to screen these before I go in. Oh well. We're sending Water Rimuru last because he has type advantage and he's water. And he's type advantage and he's magic. So the golem is the weakest against those two things. And we still get pretty lucky here. So we can use Rimuru Steel and then his orb change, still get a full hand, except we have no Guy orbs. So totally 100% useful. We do need a second ult, though, to follow up. Like, either one, Violet or Valentine, whoever's stronger, whoever you have. It doesn't really matter which one. But because we're very obviously going to go probably to turn 8, we are able to use both of the additional effects, the one additional effect from Valentine being that extra crit resistance down, which is really going to help cut into the damage that we do and his resistance against crits, because I think he's got like 80% or something. Hold on, let me check that. The Golem has 40% crit resistance. Yeah. So if she's nerfing it by 40, that means that we can just do normal damage on crits. It's not going to do anything really extra, but you know, we have extra crit power as well from Violet. So all those things combined makes it look real nice. And then here, we could use Violet's Orb Change here, but we don't. We save that for a later time. And Geld, again, we're still not getting too many points, like, because we are, you know, the blues are nerfed by what, 50% or something, and it just makes kind of gaining everything quite slow and tedious. But this works out fairly well. So I think what I do is I just use Violet's Orb Change and then give away all those blue orbs to Guy, since he already has the 2. Oh no, I don't. Okay. Okay, I'm going for extra protection gauge then. Which, you know, that's fine. We could have used the giveaway to Guy. He doesn't really need it, because he's probably going to get the ult here, or be very close to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Oh, he does get it. So we didn't need to give away the orb. So that's just points that we didn't have to use, and we were able to save. We are halfway through this fight and on turn 5. Wonder why there's still 3 minutes left in this fight. Oh well. Let's see. Oh, I know why. Because we still have to go a few more turns. So Guy is ready, and he also can't be up front now, because he will die. He will 120% die from that ult. So we're going to bring in our highest units. We've got that going. Let's get her out of here. Let's get Rimuru in. Let's use the orange orb change. Now we got another full hand of blues. We'll give away all to Valentine now, because Valentine is 104 for me, so she is slightly stronger than Violet. So that gets her an ult, and then we're looking pretty good. We just have to wait until turn 8 to get that extra resistance down. But unfortunately, Geld is not going to make it to turn 8. So if you really are looking for the RNG and you're looking for like the perfect 3-star run, he's going to have to hit Rimuru with that follow-up attack after the ult, because no one else is going to live that. Guy's not going to live the ult, for one, and as you saw, like, Geld and Valentine are pretty much a one-shot away, so he has to hit Rimuru with that single attack in order for everybody to live, because he'll take damage, but he'll take significantly less. So, and it allows you to keep everyone alive. But we're going to soldier on here. We do have a lot of points, so we are actually able to use Valentine's extra ability right here, and I think we're just going to go for it, because we have 260 points. We're just going to leave him up here to guarantee that Guy gets an orb next turn, because as you can see, we brought him in and there's no orb. So, not a good time to nuke when you only have one nuker in their AoE, so, oh well. We're on the blues. We're going to get one more stack of Velzard and max points, which means that next turn we can use, I think, 3 stacks of Velzard, because we'll have enough to do everything. So, or maybe not. Do we? No, okay, never mind. We don't do that. Doesn't really matter, though. We still have 2 extra stacks of Velzard. It could have been 3. We would have sacrificed one of the skills, and that's just not worth it. So, we're going to ult. We have the physical buff, the crit resistance down, the crit damage up, the ult resistance down, the crit, and then the 80% ult gauge, plus however many stacks of Velzard we actually have. Valentine does 125, and then Guy does 179k. So there we go. There is the first team that's able to clear it. Not the easiest team to run, or the most free-to-play friendly, but, you know, it is able to do it. So let's do the second team now. This is the 4th team. We're going to take the Water 2.0 team. So we do have type advantage. We are all magic. So in theory, this team should work. And Hinata, if she wasn't sealed, she would be able to seal the crit resistance on the golem and therefore allowing us to hit much, much harder. But sometimes it doesn't work out like that. So we're going to go ahead and jump in. Orb changing here, buffing here. I think we have to skip ahead a bit because I just sit here for a while. Yeah, I sit here for a long while. There we go. Okay. Boom. Okay, so turn 1, we are still going to send the 4 oranges because we have no one to get us away from that and there's nothing we can do about it. So we're going to bring Shuna and Hinata in, that way we get maximum skill points and maximum protection gauge from all of their traits, as much as we can get, for turn 2. And then we get really, really, really lucky here. I just want to see how much gauge we get for Shuna, but we're going to bring Rimuru in for Shuna, get the whole hand of blues, and that gets us off to a very good start. And then, because Geld is here, we can give away those orbs to Hinata and ensure that she can get very close to an ult. And I think, does she have a trait that gets her ult next turn? I forget who's attached to her. Yeah, she does. Okay, cool. There you go. So cool. Hinata's got an ult. I kind of don't want to hold on to it, though, because she's kind of our main damage dealer, and I do want her up front, because I do want that seal to go away eventually. So we're just going to kind of leave it for now. And I think we just send it. So we don't have enough orbs to use Rimuru's personal change, so that's unfortunate. We're going to bring Shuna back in because she's also single target. We'll use the water buff on both her and Hinata. And then I think we just send, yeah, all the Shunas plus the ult. 36k unbuffed right there is actually a decent chunk of damage for turn 3. And then we get a Shuna ult. Great. Well, let's get rid of that too, because I don't want that either. So we'll use Geld here. We have enough points to use Rimuru's orb change, so Geld goes away. And then we'll send 5 blues and a Shuna ult, and we'll be looking actually really, really good for turn 5. And, you know, we are water, so we're taking less damage inherently from having type advantage. So this is working out fairly well. And we have no danger of really critting unless we do it naturally here. This is kind of an unfortunate turn, but we can make it work by sending these. And then next turn we're going to pray. We're going to pray. But this does get us close to another ult. And then this hand works out really, really nicely. So I don't want to take Hinata out, but I kind of have to take Hinata out, or we just use the orb changes, because we have points for it, and we're going to do that instead. So Rimuru comes in, changes those greens. We don't have enough to use the giveaway again, but it is what it is. Send Rimuru to the back just to keep him there for his convenience. 2,000 damage on the normal orbs, and we're already 2/3 done. That's the ult. And unfortunately, he just really hates Geld, so Geld dies. So, if you wanted to live that, he'd have to hit literally anybody fucking else. Whoever else is on the team, they're not going to die from that hit, except Geld. So, kind of unfortunate. Maybe you just don't have Geld up front when the ult comes. Who knows? Could have been a misplay on my part. Oh well. But thankfully, we have, you know, the Shuna, the Xion ult, which doesn't do a lot, 19k. It does more, actually, than the crit and pierce buff, the ult that we had for Alice last turn, but whatever. Double counter, really not what you want to see, but thankfully she guarded that last hit. So here, we make a decision, because we don't have the ult, but we are unsealed, right? So we could seal his crit resistance. So I'm going to kind of bank on the water damage, the crit damage, the magic buff, the attack buff, the crit damage, and the crit seal that we can kill here. But we can't, because he's still got guard. So, thankfully, we lived. So now we can just use the water buff and the alt buff and then send it with Hinata and we'll call it good. So, I mean, was it pretty? I mean, not really. Did it work? Yes. So, water team can get it done. You just maybe had to get a little bit lucky there. But that is number 4 of 5, so let's go and get the final team, which is probably actually the easiest team. Alright, the final team in this rather long video is the Light 3.0 team. It is a magic team, good. It is Pierce-based, also good. And even though one of Raphael's skills is sealed, and that being the stun, it doesn't really matter, because that's only the stun and the stun strike. If we can't stun, there's no point in having Stun Strike. So we're just going off of the Pierce buff that we've been stacking with Shuna, plus the alt resistance down, plus the Pierce rate, plus the extra alt damage that we're getting from Octagram Valentine, plus the attack buff, light resistance down, plus the alt buff, plus the light buff. There is a literal shit ton of damage support on this team that missing out on the stun is not the end of the world, as we will very easily quickly see. So here, I kind of forgot to hit record. So turn 1, we sent the 4 oranges, and then we got actually pretty lucky, and I was able to orb change everything into blues. So we've already used the Milim orb change, we've used the Shuna orb change. Now we're starting on turn 2, sorry. But cutting back really fast, we do have a lot of protection gauge on turn 2. So Valentine is giving extra gauge for the first 3 turns. Shion's giving us extra protection gauge every 2 turns. And then Light Rimuru down here is also giving us protection gauge the first 3 turns. So with these powers combined, we are actually able to get a protector on turn 2, which is why we have 1 Shuna here. And that is very, very important alongside having this full hand of blues, because it means that we can get, more skill points than normal coming back. Yeah, 81 skill points instead of having like 20 to play with or something like that. A lot more useful and a lot more lucky, which again is why I said at the very beginning, it takes a little bit of whaling, because you kind of need the traits for those, you need specific units, so maybe not viable for everybody, but this team is the easiest way to get it done, quite honestly. So we are stacking our extra Pierce power. Cool. We can orb change. We have a lot of orb changing available on this team. We've got Valentine, we've got Shuna, and we've got Milim to be able to turn her own orbs into blues. And that means we're pretty much covered for everything. And none of these skills are, super, super duper high cost. Valentine is the most expensive, but it's probably also the least useful. Because we're not stunning here, so lowering his stun resistance means absolutely nothing. The light buff is cool, but as we'll find out, we probably didn't need it. So, here, we've got another stack of Shuna, that's awesome. And, what do we do here? We pray, actually, is what we do. We pray that the orb change hits that Lumi orb, and it does. So there we go. Now we can bring Milim in and can use her convert on Shuna, change all those into blues, and, we're looking real nice right here. We'll bring Valentine in. We have enough points to use her first stack as well. That'll heal us a tiny bit, but also give us an extra 25% permanent alt damage, which will stack up. And, my Valentine is skill fused, but we don't ever get to 80%, because that's a little too expensive. And the blues, since they're nerfed, don't give us as many points as we would normally get. So, and we're also just not stacking as quickly. So, but a full hand of blues does give us quite a few points, and now that we have Valentine here as well, we can do another stack of Valentine. Valentine's own orb change, but we're going to use Milim first, that way we change the correct ones. Because I want to leave Raphael up front to get as much alt gauge as possible. So we'll use the steel first, and then Valentine's orb change, and then we'll send Milim away for Shuna again. And again, every single turn has been hands of blues, pretty much, except for turn 1. And we're doing really, really well. We're going to send Shuna last because she's water and magic, so she'll do more. Yeah, she does like 300 extra damage per orb. It's not a lot, but hey, any little bit helps, right? So, perfect. Look at this. God wanted me to beat it with this team. So, we will do another stack. I don't really care about stacking on Milim. Obviously, she's a support. She's an AoE. Doesn't really matter that much. I need stacks on Raphael and stacks on Valentine because they are the single target nukers here. And none of them, well, I guess Raphael, by virtue of being at level 120, is going to hit harder than my 96 Valentine. But, if they were both 120, they'd hit about the same. Because Raphael, well, actually no, because Raphael's skill fused now. He would give everyone the extra stun strike. It doesn't matter. Whatever. We have a full hand of blues. Look at that. Plus, I think our third stack of Valentine, I think I used that. I may have held off on it. Let's find out. I may use it here instead. This is going to hurt. This is going to hurt a lot. Yeah. Thankfully, Valentine is able to live because she's level 100 and she has really nice stats because she's an Octagram unit. No, this is our third stack of Valentine. It heals us a tiny, tiny bit. But any kind of healing is good here on a stage where normally healing skills are nerfed. right? Because they're normally body and spirit changing skills. Then it's not, first and foremost, a magic skill. So 7% here, 7% there does keep us in the game a little bit longer. And now we've got a full orb change, and we're looking real super duper good. And this should get us Raphael's ult. No, it's just shy. This gets us Valentine's ult, though, which is good. Because I thought I needed both ults. Because I wasn't exactly sure how much damage we were going to do. Obviously, since we're not critting, we're not nerfing our damage at all. But we are missing half of our, big-time damage that we're getting from Protector Shuna, right? So I wasn't sure how much that was going to affect us. So I wanted to make sure that we have double ults here. So these 3 greens will get us Raphael's ult. We're going to hold off on using the Shuna stack because I do have the ult damage charm on her, not blue or blue protection gauge charm. So I wanted to make sure we got that extra little bit, 8% ult damage before we nuked. So here we go, turn 9. He's about to ult us again, and everyone would die here. But we have 293 points. We have enough to use everything. So let's go ahead and do it. We'll use the ult buff, the light buff, the pierce buff we'll use now because no one else is nuking really. So pierce buff, cool beans. Alright, we'll bring Milim in. We don't have enough to use the 4th stack of Valentine, but honestly we don't need it. So you'll come in for Shuna, and then we'll use everything else. So the light buff, the attack buff, and then the final stack of Protector Shuna. And we're just gonna go ham on this poor golem. Now we have 2 ults, which is great. We have a lot of damage right here. We don't need it. We don't need it because Lumi kills herself by herself. 324k. The golem only has 322,000 HP, so that was a literal one-shot. And if my 96 Valentine, with not the perfect gear, is able to one-shot it, Raphael was probably going to do quite a bit more at 120 with the extra ult damage plus the extra stats. So maybe this team can take on Inferno 1. I don't really know. I can certainly try, though. But those are five more teams that you can attempt to use to get that final dupe of Ranga from EX3 Beatdown Battle. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, but that's it for me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.